Have you ever held a question so small, so heavy, that it refused to let you sleep? It hums beneath your ribs, quiet but insistent. You try to silence it, bury it beneath the noise of your days, but it lingers, tapping softly, waiting to be heard. This was Ilara's burden. She lived quietly, her world built of soft footsteps and unspoken thoughts. Every day she watched others move, certain, assured, never pausing to wonder. But in her, something trembled. It wasn't defiance, it wasn't pride, it was simply curiosity, aching to breathe. Still, she said nothing, because silence, she'd been told, is safety, because asking might mean she didn't know, and not knowing, in her world, was a kind of shame. But the question did not fade. It waited, it grew, it began to whisper. A simple question, harmless, small, and yet she feared it. One dawn, the kind that begins with soft mist and unfinished dreams, Ilara spoke. Not loudly, not boldly, just a whisper. Why do we settle for less when we can be more? The sound of her voice startled her, and for a heartbeat she wished she could pull it back. But it was too late. The question had left her lips, and the world had listened. The air around her shifted. The usual hum of routine paused. People turned, not in anger, not in judgment, but in something stranger. Curiosity. They looked at her, and then at themselves, and one by one, the world began to bend, ever so slightly, toward her question. Children paused in their games. Old men lifted their eyes from their worn paths. Even the wind seemed to carry her words, whispering them through windows, through dreams, through hearts that had forgotten how to wonder. In that moment, Ilara realized asking was not ignorance. It was hunger. It was courage. It was the beginning of everything that could ever change. Days passed. Some followed her question, daring to reach further than they ever had. Others stayed behind, clinging to comfort, fearing what more might demand. But everywhere, something had shifted. Because once a single voice dares to ask, silence never feels safe again. Ilara? She didn't find all the answers. She found more questions, each one brighter, bolder, freer. She learned that knowing less can sometimes mean seeing more. That a question is not a wound, it's a doorway. So she walked, and others followed. Not because she had the truth, but because she had the courage to seek it. And maybe that's what moves the sky. Not certainty, not wisdom, but a trembling voice that asks, why settle for less when we can be more? So if tonight a question keeps you awake, don't bury it. Don't silence it. Let it live. Let it breathe. Because somewhere beyond the hill of what you already know, the world is waiting for your whisper.